Triangle. This is going to be a little bit different than what we were doing in the past. Before we were talking about 45 degree, 45 degree, 90 degree triangles. In other words, two angles were 45 and one was 90. Now we're talking about triangles that are 30, 60, 90. In other words, one of our angles is 30 degrees, one of our angles is 60 degrees, and our other angle is 90 degrees. And so we have two formulas depending on what we're going to be solving for, what our knowns and what our unknowns are. Now looking at this problem, number 6, we don't know what the length of side C is, and we don't know what the length of side B is. We do, however, know that side A is equal to 5 inches. So if we come up here and we look at our different formulas, we've got a couple we can figure out. As long as we know what A is, we can figure out the length of C and B. So I'm going to find out, I want to look at the length of C first, my hypotenuse. So using my formula, C equals 2A. Then I'm going to say that if A is 5, right, the length of A is 5 inches, then C is going to be equal to 2 times 5 inches. So then C, would equal 10. So if I look at the formula, what I'm basically saying is that the length of C is going to be 2 times the length of A, which makes sense because as I just figured out, C equals 10 inches. And so then C would equal 10 inches. Now the problem, now I know what A is and I know what C is, but I want to determine the length of B. And so I'm going to look at B, and my formula for B is going to be, to solve for B, I'm going to use the equation or formula, B equals A times the square root of 3. So if I know what A is, which is 5 inches, I can take and plug A into A. So I can plug 5 into A inches. Or 5 into A. So I end up with B equals 5 times the square root of 3. And that's basically it. So then B is going to be equal to 5 times the square root of 3, and I'm done. Now I have the length of all three sides. The given side, which was A equals 5 inches. Side B, which I determined was 5 times the square root of 3. And side C, which I determined was 10 inches. And don't let this confuse you up here, this 5 square root of 3. I know it seems like awkward, like it isn't finished because it's not nice and clean like the 10 or the 5, but it is. It's complete. So this would be my answer, 5 times the square root of 3 inches. And if I use a calculator to solve for the square root of 3, I would get some decimal point, and then that number, with the decimal point would multiply by 5 and it would give me some number. And we'll be doing some things like that a little bit later. But in this section, for number 6, that's all it's really asking you to do is plug A in its respective position and calculate for C and B. So hopefully that helps with this section. Good luck.